Q, Queen's student television program, is brought to you in part by Procter & Gamble, continuing a long tradition of hiring Queen's students.
Welcome back to another week of Studio Q. I'm Teza Lawrence.
And I'm Graham Abbey. We have another wonderful show lined up for you again this week.
Yeah, we sure do. This week, in lieu of the fact that Reading Week is just around the corner, Graham and I have decided to host the show from the QP, where we can sip on hot toddies and...
Flaming Fruity Pink Ladies, which was mixed up by bartender Chris down here at the QP. A fine, fine drink. Anyway, down to business for this week's show. Marriott Foods' contract is up for renewal once again. The contract gives Marriott Foods exclusive rights for food preparation here on campus at both residences and cafeterias. Marriott makes a lot of food and also produces a lot of garbage in the process, and many student groups around campus would like to see more of discussion of the environment in the renewal of the contract. Here's Justine with more.
Most students have used the Marriott food facilities at one time or another, but how many have considered the waste that is generated in the process? Gut Feeling, a coalition of university students and staff organizations, is taking a hard line against the waste that is generated by food services on campus.
And we want a say in how food's done around here, and we think we can get a better deal.
On Tuesday, February 15th, Gut Feeling organized an open panel discussion to raise awareness of the issue of waste management. The panel was composed of activists and experts from both the Queens and Kingston community. However, Queen's University declined to send a representative. Charges of stonewalling were laid against Rebecca Spalding, Queen's Waste Management Coordinator. In addition to Spalding, Dodds also claims that the university administration influenced one of the key speakers from Corcan's composting facility not to attend the event.
But when we went to book the time, he told us that he'd done further research, he didn't want to become involved in internal politics, and that he could no longer communicate with us except through Rebecca Spalding.
Studio Q tried to contact Spalding, but were referred instead to Tom Morrow, Executive Assistant to Vice Principal Williams, for further information. When questioned on Queen's involvement in waste management, Morrow was positive and believed that there was a lot of items currently being recycled on campus.
We are making progress. There's considerably more being recycled now than there were a few years ago, and I suspect in a few years from now there will be considerably more being diverted out of the waste stream.
The issue of waste management is not new, but with the Marriott Food Service contract coming to an end, Gut Feeling is taking advantage of the opportunity to do something about what they claim are the current low standards by making people aware of what they really feel is going on behind closed doors.
And I think what most students don't know is that all of what they hand in goes straight into the garbage, and so does most of the material that's involved in cooking the food.
Morrow stated that the issue of waste management will be included in the new proposal document for campus food services.
One of the things that we heard very clearly in the open forums that the students ran was that recycling is an important issue, and that is an issue that will be addressed in the request for proposal documents, and the various firms will be asked to describe their experience in that area and how they feel they may be able to help us in that area.
Coalition groups like Gut Feeling are encouraging Queen's administration to take a hard line towards waste management. And in their opinion, the new food services contract negotiations offer an excellent opportunity for the administration to start making some headway. For Studio Q, this is Justine Ray reporting.
Another subject up for debate was surface. The Queen's Debating Union presented this public debate in Walls Hall Wednesday night. They admit it was hard to find participants to go head-to-head. In the end, they imported Harvey Schachter, past editor of the Whig Standard, to argue in favor of the paper, while Mark Gibbons, who took surface before a grievance committee last year, returned to Queen's to argue against the paper.
And I challenge you to go out and ask any 6 or 7 people who are color or that kind of thing, who are involved here at campus, and ask them what they think about whether service actually represents their point of view. You would find the majority of them would say, no, it does not.
Coming up on Studio Q, a look at financing the formal. A lot of students are strapped for cash this time of year, but Studio Q provides some useful advice to help you make the formal affordable and the night of your life.
While there may still be snow on the ground, a lot of people are starting to think about summer. Summer jobs, that is. Here's Allison Grant with a scoop on summer job hunting.
With second term already half over, the rush is on for summer jobs. And just like last year, students are frustrated.
I think it'll be another tough summer. Last summer was pretty tough as well.
You'll have to wait and see, but right now it doesn't look too promising.
Yeah. This discouragement may be unwarranted. Coordinator of Employment Programs at the CPMP, Barb Mundell, reports a 16% increase in their summer job postings.
The competition is always stiff in Ontario and across Canada, but I think if you keep trying and you aren't too terribly particular about what you do, you can find something.
While most of the jobs are located within the Toronto area, the variety is still exceptional.
Jobs range from everything from working with a company merchandising a product, be it bubble gum, or I actually got Dr. Scholl's this morning, or tree planting and camps, working for some of the cruise line.
For students who are interested in something a little more unusual, Paramount Canada's Wonderland held tryouts for singers, actors, dancers, and variety performers last Monday. If a job overseas seems appealing, the CPMP has an international section in their library and occasionally receives postings for teaching English as a second language. The International Center as well has information on work and study abroad programs. For a summer you will never forget, however, visit the Camp Outlook office located on the 3rd floor of the JDUC. Camp Outlook hires student volunteers to take underprivileged kids on 10-day canoe trips in Algonquin Park.
It's very, very challenging. It's very intense. The kids can create a very intense experience for each person. It's very mentally challenging, but the rewards are unbelievable. I mean, it's amazing to be outdoors the whole summer.
Application forms are still available outside the Camp Outlook office. While the competition is rough, the only requirement for the position is dedication.
The staff that we have for the summer are, we're looking for people who can commit for the 3 months and who are dedicated and are willing to help these kids out.
Volunteer, actor, salesperson, or tree planter. The jobs are there, and it's up to you to find out. Drop by the CPMP or phone the summer job hotline at 1-800-387-5656. For Studio Q, I'm Allison Grant reporting.
Senator Solange Chapout-Roland spoke on Tuesday afternoon at Walter Light Hall. Sponsored by the Michener Visitorship Committee, her speech entitled Fortitude or Solitude addressed the tension between Quebec and the rest of Canada.
And this is why this country is in such difficulty now. We have inherited Western province totally dissatisfied with the Eastern province. We have inherited Quebecers very dissatisfied with the rejection of the Meech Lake Accord, which was a wonderful dream, which I share, and that is the reason why I am in the Senate.
Queen's Medical Outreach held a special wine and cheese over the past week. The QMO sends medical, nursing, and rehab students to Guyana over the summer to provide assistance to needy communities. This event was a chance for the group to thank faculty, students, and other members of the community for their help during the year. Douglas Library was the latest victim of the unseasonably cold weather Kingston's been having. The alarm system was triggered when a water main burst inside the building. The noise of the alarm forced a lot of students to study elsewhere. Many books were also seriously damaged by the burst and must be sent away for repair.
We estimate there'll be more than 2,000 books to be sent away for freeze drying, and there are some other books to be air dried. We don't know how many.
It's time for another episode of What's on Where with Cathi White.
At the Shot, catch Olympic action on the big screen all week long. Friday, get a chance to win $5,000 from the Shot in support of the women's basketball team. Show up at Bartlett Gym at 6 o'clock on Friday and make some money. Alfie's will be closed until Wednesday when it reopens for the rest of reading week. Don't miss your favorite characters battle it out on Beverly Hills, Melrose Place, and Leaf Hockey. Thursday, Don't miss the last from The Simpsons and Seinfeld. Dr. Gertie's is hot during reading week, with light nights almost every night. Sunday, be part of party games and catch the Mike and Mike Showdown. Wednesday and Thursday, Mardi Gras comes to K-Town at Dr. Gertie's. Don't miss the hot festivities. That's it for What's on Where this week. I'm Cathi White. Have a great time and support Kingston's local establishments during reading week.
For most students at university, the inability to read a book is equivalent to academic suicide. So how does Tua Pepra deal with this problem? Here's Stefan Teague with the answer.
Meet Tua Pepra, an international student from Ghana, Africa, who's in the middle of completing his master's thesis in education. Stuck out in desolate West Campus, for many would seem an enormous academic barrier itself. But Tua has also had to deal with arriving alone to a new country, thousands of miles away from friends and family, and on top of all that, Tua is blind. For Tua, the ability to read required material is not only a problem of getting your hands on it, but also a matter of transferring it to audio or braille form. With the help of his wife Phyllis, some volunteer assistant readers, and some nifty equipment, Tua is able to access most printed material.
It works like a photocopier, but this one, instead of giving you a hard copy of the document, it reproduces in speech form.
When fieldwork goes well, there is a certain continuity to the experience, but it is useful to look at the evolution of field.
The personal reader alone is about $15,000. They belong to the university. And the problem is with the editing, which takes, well, I think Paula can talk about that. No.
Paula Robb, a fourth-year rehab student, donates her time once a week and helps Tua edit some of his work.
Well, I've learned a lot about the technology that's around for people who are blind. You know, I've told him, I said, Tua, I have so much respect for your courage, because he came here from Africa completely by himself and he can't see. You know, I've learned a lot from him as a person, and maybe now I'm not as scared as I am to go out on my own next year.
Although Tua could have continued his graduate education in Ghana, he chose Queens in Canada due to the availability of the equipment.
I think it has gone a very long way to make some printed materials accessible to the blind.
Tua has one more year to go before he finishes his master's thesis, after which he plans to return to Ghana.
Yeah, I have to go home.
Back to Ghana?
Yeah, my people need me.
For Studio Q, I'm Stefan Teague, reporting.
Dress, tux, dinner, tickets, drinks, all these necessities for the formal can add up. On this week's It's Your Money segment, Cathi White has some advice to make sure that the formal doesn't break your bank.
Your graduation formal, a night to be remembered and cherished as the last fandango of your university career. But it's expensive, and you wonder, is it all worth it? This year, the theme for the Art Sci 94 formal is Elegance by Twilight, with a Victorian flavor. But before you can go, there are a number of things that need to be done by each prospective formal goer. To begin with, you must be outfitted with a suitable formal attire. Although variation is allowed, the standard uniform is a tuxedo for a man and a dress for a woman. Tux rentals begin at $69.99 and increase with quality and extras. The price range for dresses is dependent on a number of factors. Some unusual options for women include renting a Victorian theme dress or even renting a tuxedo. None of the stores objected to renting to a woman, but cautioned that the pants may not fit very well. Once you know what you're going to wear, the pre-formal entertainment should be arranged. There is no dinner being served, so getting something to eat before the festivities begin is a good idea. Kingston is blessed with a large number of restaurants ranging in price, and all recommend booking early to ensure that a table is available. Transportation for the evening is also a must. You can travel in elegance in a limousine at $100 an hour, or you can choose more inexpensive methods, such as taxis or car and van rentals. When you arrive at the formal, with your date and approximately $100 worth of tickets, you will be entertained by the Mahones and an open bar. After cutting some rug and shaking it down, your night is slowly coming to an end. Breakfast parties are always a good idea, as is the idea of splitting town. Road trips are always fun, and since you've already spent your food money for the term, why not spend another few $100s on a getaway weekend to the Bahamas or Florida? For those with other ideas, the price of hotel rooms range, so be sure to call around to get the best price. There are many immaterial costs, especially for the world of bitter singles, those without significant others. The humility, anxiety, and pressure of finding a date can be overwhelming. You are allowed to go dateless, but it is always nice to have someone standing beside you in pictures. It may seem simple, although expensive, to go to the formal, but you will be one of the lucky hundreds that lined up for hours to sign up for construction hours. Many people commented on the situation, but Adam Schultz, a fourth-year economics student, justified the time spent lining up.
It makes me feel like a 94. We've lined up for everything ever since we got here in 90.
6 hours of making decorations must be completed per person in order to be eligible to go to our graduation soiree. Is it worth it?
When it comes right down to it, a lot of the money goes to charity. That that we also make sure that's taken care of. And what other school does something as crazy as this?
I don't think anybody, I don't think the committee, I don't think myself, I don't think the 94s are going to know whether it was worth it or not until they get there that night. And I think we're going to have a really good time. Everything went really well, and we're very pleased. And I hope the 94s are pleased, and we're looking forward to a really good night.
No, not really. No, it's fun, but not worth it.
Opinions differed, but the overall verdict was a resounding yes. In less than a month, Portsmouth Olympic Harbor will be transformed from an ordinary sailing club into a venue of Victorian elegance. None of this could have been accomplished without work done by organizers and participants. Be sure to shop around and get the best prices for all your formal necessities. Hopefully, the cost will be justified by wonderful memories of Formal 94. Anxiously awaiting the formal, for Studio Q, I'm Cathi White reporting.
Okay. Now, this isn't one I use, but my housemate, who shall remain nameless, has been known to use this one. Hey, baby, you're just like Club Med. 30 seconds would be great, but could you imagine a week?
The worst pickup line that I've made up was, I love what you're wearing. Your clothes would look great crumpled on my bedroom floor in the morning.
Okay, this guy came up to me in a bar and said, hey, nice shirt. And I said, oh, you really like that? And he said, yeah, but it would look so much better on my floor.
I want to make you feel like an angel.
Resistance is futile.
My friend was in a club, and he was checking this girl. And so he went up to her, and he said, what's your name? And she looked at him, and she said, X. And he said, I didn't ask you for your rating. I asked you for your name.
I think I've seen you in the library before.
Do you sleep on your stomach? Because I'd like to.
Is your father a thief? Because he stole the stars out of the sky and put them in your eyes.
Say you have a nice body. Will you hold it against me?
You stretch my shorts.
Maybe you guys know this. The one God is mad with your father because he stole the stars and put them in your eyes. You know?
Are your feet tired? When the girl asked why, you said, because you've been running through my mind all day.
When I'm at a bar, I don't have a pickup line because I'm too drunk to talk.
Hey, in Studio Q, you are amazing.
Grad, old man. Saw you in Studio Q. Good job.
Hey, Brad, I saw you in Studio Q last night. Great job.
Jen, what is everyone talking about?
You don't know? Come on, let's go to Vids in the Hall. I'll show you.
Okay, what did you want to show me?
This is what I wanted to show you.
Oh, Studio Q. I can't believe I was on Studio Q and I never saw it.
Next week on Studio Q, yes, there will be a next week. If you aren't going away for Reading Week, we have a special treat. It's the very best of Studio Q ever. 5 years of highlights, lowlights, and some of the worst camera work you've ever seen. We've come a long way, baby. Check it out, or even set your VCRs. Next week, only on Studio Q.
Hi, this is Joe Byrne for Studio Q Sports. This past weekend, Queens hosted the OU Wrestling Championships. Queens finished 7th overall with Western clinching first place. Kent White was top finisher for Queens, taking the bronze medal and qualifying for CIs. At Western, the women's squash team competed in the OW Team Championships. Queens won the championship for the second year in a row. At Bartlett on Tuesday night, the women's and men's teams played York. The women were victorious with a final score of 68-55, with Vicki Wilson topping the scoring with 24 points. The men pounded York 92-65, with 4 players scoring in the double digits. Dave Smart, with 43 points, broke a Queens scoring record. On Friday, the women's volleyball team hosted York. The Gales were defeated 3-0, but Queens remained in the running, qualifying for OW Championships at Waterloo this weekend. The OW figure skating competition was held at Queens over the weekend. In open solo dance, Deanna Harada clinched first place for Queens, while CJ Davidson and Jana McLean clinched top spot in the intermediate pairs. In senior A singles, Lisa Keyworth took first, while the Queens team placed second to Guelph overall. That's it for sports. I'm Joe Byrne.
For this week's sports profile, we felt that the men and women of the cross-country ski team deserved to be profiled not once, but twice. With their story again, here's Martin Ridlow.
Our sport of cross-country skiing has been revolutionized because it's sort of become 2 sports in one. We have the classic technique. It's called classic because that's what cross-country skiing only was 10 years ago, where you put grip wax on your skis and you ski in tracks that have been pressed into the snow. But then it became a much faster technique was literally discovered and exploded overnight, where we do just like the skating style, and we use shorter skis, stiffer skis, longer pulls, and we skate just like on ice skates, side to side with your skis in a V. Some races are designated where we're just supposed to do classic skiing, and some races are called freestyle, so everybody skates because it's faster. Mass start skating. You're just lucky if you don't snap your $300 pair of poles. Mass starts are great. You got to be really aggressive. Everybody lines up, usually a row of 10, and you can I've been up mass starts up to 200 people, and it's like cross-country running. Everyone's just bumping into each other, but this time you have skis and stuff, and if one guy falls down, everybody will pile on top of him. You got to ski around, complete pandemonium. I love it. Last year, Queens did really well. We won the men won the OU banner. It was very exciting. We came first in the relay. It's very exciting to watch, and it's in the OU's this year in the same place. And well, with a little bit of luck and some good waxing, which is always a difficult part of the sport, and some fast results, I think we have a good chance at maybe taking home the banner again. But one thing's for sure, that we'll have a good time that weekend. The ski team always has a good time.
Well, that's it once again. Thank you for watching. A reminder, once again, it is trivia time here in Studio Q. It's also Beverly Hills 90210
Yeah, it's
time
Wednesday
here at
night,
the
and they're
QP.
banging down the door to get in, so we should make
Okay,
this fast.
we'll make it fast. The trivia question is, what is that I'm drinking right there? If you know that, give us a call at 541-1040 for the Thursday night show only, and you win
a shot t-shirt.
Shot
So be sure to call in. And last week's winner was Kevin Bryanton. He's a proud owner of a 21-day-old smoked meat sandwich.
8 ounces
Eight ounce
of
smoked meat
smoked
sandwich.
meat. Once again, you can give us a call or write us 545-6699 if you want to write us. Our address is Studio Q, room 22, John Deutsch University Center, Kingston, Ontario, K7L 3 and 6. How about that?
Beautiful.
Fast, eh?
Very good, very good.
And once again, our Valentine's Day contest is still going.
It's going to happen. Tomorrow night's a big night,
Tomorrow night's
Thursday
a big
night.
night, and it's going to air the week after Reading Week, and we're doing live coverage of the date, so
Should be
be
really
sure
fun.
to tune in.
Match made in heaven.
And next week.
And next week, be sure, if you're going to be in Kingston, be sure to tune in because we will be showing our top stories on next week's Studio Q. All the best stories, all our highlights.
It's a party here at the Quiet Pub, so
Yeah.
we are now leaving.
Yeah, we're being
Thank
thrown
you for
out of
tuning
here.
in once again for Studio Q. I'm Graham Abbey.
And I'm Teza Lawrence. Cheers, Graham. Nice
Same
to
to
meet
you.
you. Have a great reading week.
See you after Reading Week.
Adam and I have decided to just go around the John Deutsch University Center here and just mingle with the Queens and the Kingston community.
In the spirit of the Olympic Games, we're looking for athletes, and we're going to ask them about their eating habits.
We're looking for healthy-looking people and nutritional choices here on Studio Q.
And figuring out what do they eat.
What do they eat?
In the early 70s, the Bulgarians had a high-fat diet, and that's apparently what worked for them. The Bulgarians were good, not long-distance runners, just short distance, but it was a high-fat diet.
I don't know. I talked to who it was, Dr. Reed up there. I know this was a chap that was on the head of the phys ed before. I give a book that the father said about. I never read about high fat, but you see, fat is
bad.
No. Fat. This is one thing about it. I was going to quote Dr. Hawes. He said the fat from chicken and salmon is more benefit to your heart than fat from hamburger.
Oh, cereal for breakfast with toast, sandwich for lunch.
Salmon? Sandwich.
Because we just did a segment on salmon.
Salmon is very low fat, low fat.
But the main thing, you got to take the salmon.
The salmon is the trouble.
You got to freeze it.
Oh yeah, you got to freeze the things.
Freeze it. That gives rid of
the fat.
No. Of the worms that are on their skin.
Did you know that you have to freeze the fish? There's parasites inside. There's worms inside the skin. Did you hear about that? Yeah.
Salmon only.
There's a documentary on that.
Yeah.
Different types of fish.
What do you think probably is the main dish that Tanya Harding would eat?
Oh, Renee?
Gee. Let's see. Main dish that she would eat. She looks like, actually, she looks like a salmon kind of person.
A salmon girl.
Yeah.
How about Nancy Kerrigan?
Kerrigan? I think that she would have, a little bit of rice, a little bit of chicken.
It lays up there about 3 or 4 days. I talk about the blue mold, the mold doesn't come through the gauze.
That's what penicillin is from, mold.
I know, but there's different molds. I don't think you'd want to eat blue mold unless you want to.
Blue mold's bad.
You want to turn up your toes and.
Well, that's what happens when you eat blue mold.
Well, doesn't the blue cheese mold anyway? I'll tell you that.
What do you normally eat? Anything special that you really like?
Lebanese food.
Oh, Lebanese food? And does Lebanese food have any salmon or blue mold in it?
No.
Do you eat salmon? Salmon seems to be the theme of our show today.
Salmon.
Yeah.
If somebody gives me a salmon, I'd be quite happy to eat it, yes.
Were you aware, I guess there was a documentary done on the fact that salmon has parasites in the skin of it.
You eat the skin?
Oh, no. Well, no. No, that's the thing. The parasites come from the skin and they crawl into the salmon. So I guess the thing is you're supposed to freeze the salmon.
But then you cook it before you eat it, right?
Well, then you freeze it and then you cook it. Yeah, because if you eat raw salmon, that's not good either. Okay, this is the pre-Olympic run. Mr. Elliott, okay, ready? Set, go. There he goes. Speed walking here at the. There he goes.